Good morning. 2nd of March, RSPCA Leicester. Lots of members of staff and volunteers with some very good dogs today, actually, some very challenging dogs that have done very, very well. Some very stressed. I think there was one of the staffy crosses in there today must have been used as a bait dog because the stress levels around other dogs were intense. I mean, really intense. This dog was convinced it had to fight everything that moved. So when you start to get that level of stress in a dog, you put it in an environment which by its very nature has other stress dogs in it, then you really have got your work cut out. When you think the objective of what I do here is to try and get these dogs rehomed, and you've got a dog like that with such high stress levels, and we've got to try and put a program of training in place that teaches this dog how to behave around other dogs so it can go to a family or a pet home and know how to behave. So we've had our work cut out today. There was another staff mix in there today as well, that the people that were working with it were falling into a very common trap in the fact that they were using a ball to distract the dog. But the problem was the dog was associating very high excitement and energy to the ball. So it was having actually the reverse effect of what they wanted, because it was making the dog more excited. It was then pulling the handler to get to the ball. Now, which is probably one of the reasons it was given up in the first place. So when you consider that's got now to be walked by somebody onto a park where people are playing, where kids are playing with balls, and it sees a ball and associates that level of excitement and stress, and then drags its owner across the park to take a ball off a kid. And fair enough, once I explained this, they could understand it, but they hadn't even made that connection. They hadn't thought that far ahead. All it was about was, oh, let's play with the dog. Never mind the poor person that takes that dog out in its new home on its first walk to the park for the first time. It sees a ball, drags them off the feet, they let it go, it goes and mugs a kid for a ball. This is why it's important, so important, that these rescue centres take a different perspective on their dogs, a different viewpoint of how they interact with their dogs, because their responsibility is to get these dogs fit for a new home and knowing how to behave in a new home. It's not just about getting them out of a kennel, having some fun with them, putting them back in, because all that teaches them is you come out of the kennel excited and stressed, you bounce around for 10 minutes, you go back in. So all the interaction that happens with a human happens at a high level. That's the very reason they're in there in the first place, because people can't control them. So we've got a lot of work to do to get this mindset changed. But what was really nice today, there was several volunteers in there. Now, this is people that don't work for the RSPCA. And that gives me the chance to get more people thinking a bit differently about the interaction they have with their dogs. So it's been a very good morning. You can tell by my energy that I'm pleased I've had a good session, but also it's tinged with a large degree of frustration and annoyance at how they don't think about what's going to happen to these dogs in the future. So that's where the challenge lies. Game on.